Stage and film actor Jacob Warner is currently touring with the Bell Shakespeare Company's The Merchant of Venice. Having appeared last year in the film Hacksaw Ridge, as well as Spice Sisters back in 2016, and before that 2013, The Fragments. He's back on stage in a rather comical role, and he joins me right now on the line. Jacob, nice to have you with us today.
G'day, Lee. How are you, mate?
I'm doing well, pal. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm just on a train to Fremantle at the moment, actually.
On a train to Fremantle?
Yes, we're currently doing our shows in Perth, and the cast are having a little trip to Freo for the day.
That sounds great. Sounds great. And what's the train like, all right?
Oh, it's fine. We've basically got a carriage to ourselves, so we're misbehaving like we should be.
Well, that's what you do when you're on a holiday, isn't it?
Well, that's it, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's a holiday between the gigs. Tell me, you're a Victorian, aren't you?
I am. I was born in Frankston.
Yeah.
Spent the first couple of years of my life there, and then my mum and dad moved to Shepparton in country Victoria, and I spent most of my life there. But my grandparents, both sets of grandparents are in Frankston, and my other grandparents are in Flinders, so mostly around that area.
So they're still there, are they?
They're still there, yeah.
They'll be coming down to see this production of yours, I dare say, when you're at Frankston Arts.
I think most of the Frankston show will be my family, to be honest.
I think you might be right. Listen, what was it like doing Hacksaw Ridge?
You know what? It was a wonderful experience. It was a surprise to me that I landed that film. I was about a year out of drama school. I didn't expect to be doing a major motion picture that had that soon, but it was a real learning experience. I got to spend 7 weeks on a film, watching wonderful actors and a wonderful director work, and just learn as much as I could. It was a real learning experience for me.
What was Mel Gibson like?
Yeah, great. He's a really hands-on, really energetic director. He gets in there with you, gets dirty, shows you how to handle the guns, how to do the action sequences. He's wonderful.
Would have been very exciting times, I dare say. You're looking at a war movie there, which was a true story, and it was a phenomenal movie. I loved it.
Oh, thank you. No, it's I think it was a really wonderful story, and Andrew was obviously beautiful in the role, and
yes,
just absolutely brought that to life. But yeah, I mean, I think that Mel's wonderful at putting violence on the film. He does it in a way that's really interesting and kind of poetic, and I think he was the perfect director for that film because he's also got that wonderful, softer side to him. He's just a really good storyteller, I think. I
think it was the movie that was going to relaunch Mel Gibson's career, and I think it's done all of that for him.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he's got his problems.
We all have, haven't we?
We do. I mean, yeah. But as an artist, I think he's still got really wonderful stories to tell. So, yes. I'm glad that he's making films again. Yeah,
so am I. It was a great movie. We can't wait for his next one to come out. What influenced you, Jacob, to get into it?
I probably spent most of my childhood watching Leigh and Woodley. Do you remember Leigh and Woodley's TV
Yes,
show?
My word, yeah.
That was probably my favourite TV show as a kid, and Mr. Bean, I think, was the other one, which has probably influenced my acting style.
Right.
And then as a teenager, my dad took me to see a Bell Shakespeare production, actually, when I was 16, and after seeing that show, I think I probably decided, look, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, I think.
Did you do any theatre work at school?
Yeah, I did drama, and we did lots of musicals at my high school. So I did Chicago and Cabaret and Beauty and the Beast. I played the Candlesticks. So.
Did you? Yeah.
Yes. But then I moved to Melbourne, and then from Melbourne went to Sydney and studied acting at the Actors Centre in Sydney, and from there on it's just been onwards and upwards.
I think I was reading about you before you went to Sydney. Didn't you have a band? You were playing in a band down here in Melbourne?
Yeah, me and my brother and our mates Luke and Ash, we had a band called Damson, and then another band we formed called On Net, and we were playing gigs maybe once a week. And to be honest, it was a choice for me to stay in Melbourne and continue music, or to go up to Sydney and become an actor. And I was just more passionate about the acting. But I'm still passionate about music, but I just haven't played in a long time.
I was reading a comment about you that you were saying that you go where the work is, and I think that's a wonderful attitude to have.
Yeah, I mean, like in Australia, there's just not a lot of consistent acting work, so you have to kind of move to where it is, and even that might be overseas. I've spent some time in LA as well, which was really good. I'm in a tunnel. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I've got you now.
Great. Yeah, I mean, and that's the same with theatre and TV and film. Like, for me, it's not me choosing what I want to do. It's the work is actually choosing it for me. There's just not a lot of work in this country, so you've got to go where the work is.
No, that's right.
And actually, that's the exciting part. Like, for me to be able to tour the country with this play and to see a lot of Australia, and I haven't seen a lot of Australia, to be honest, and to be getting paid to do it is absolutely wonderful.
Is this your first time across to the West?
Yeah, I've never been this side before.
Yeah.
The beaches look completely, like the colour of the water is incredible. I've just never seen anything like that.
It is,
before.
isn't it? Yeah. It's very
gorgeous.
blue.
Yeah, that kind of blue-green, like a turquoise kind of colour. It's wonderful.
Jacob, tell us about Merchant of Venice. Now, you've got quite a comical part in this.
I do. Look, it's not typically thought of as a funny show, but I think that our production has really highlighted comic side.
Yep. I'm losing you slightly there again. I have lost you, I think. Just see if you can move the phone around, mate. We might be able to get you back.
I mean, my role is to provide some relief.
Yes.
But really the show is about how we deal with our prejudice and how we deal with people who are different from us.
And that's very much a message of today too, isn't it?
Well, 100%. And I think the thing is that I'm not really that interested in doing Shakespeare as just museum pieces, like doing it for the sake of doing it because it's an old play. I think I'm interested in doing it because the plays have some resonance in today. And this play in particular, I think, says a lot about who we are still today as to we were 400 years ago.
Well, the Bell Shakespeare Company certainly do it in a revised format, don't they? From when I've seen Bell Shakespeare, and I think it's very, very good as a format. You bring it up to date, and it is just so much of what is happening in the 21st century to us.
Yeah, and I think, the plays are always long and always too long, so the first step is doing a cut of the show that is appropriate for the season. And I would say we've probably cut a third out of the play, which I think is good. And what we've got left is a really palatable but still muscular production. Everything that we're saying on stage is written by Shakespeare. Like, it's all still there, but we've just cut it and edited it in a way that I think... I mean, there's also too many characters. We have 10 actors, and I think we still have about 10 actors and maybe 14 roles. So there's still a couple of people who are doubling. Yes. But we've eliminated a lot of that so that mainly people are just playing one role, which I think is also less confusing for an audience.
Jacob, what's coming up next for you?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think mostly unemployment, but once this finishes, I think hopefully I'll have some money saved and I'll be able to go back over to Los Angeles and spend a bit of time on the ground over there and hopefully get some audition and some work over there. And if not, I'd love to be working on the stages in Sydney or Melbourne or all over the country again next year in something. But at the moment, there's not a lot on. I've got a lot more time on this show, to be honest.
What's your preference? Is it theatre or is it film?
I don't really have one. Like, they're very different. To be honest, I think theatre's the most fun. Because, things like this, I'm on a train with a bunch of mates going to Frio, and this is part of my job. You get to make wonderful friends and you spend a lot of time with them. I think that film and TV is potentially a more exciting medium. I think some of the work that is coming out of film and television at the moment is wonderful, and I'd love to be a part of that. And so I think, ideally, I'd love to do a bit of everything for the rest of my life, to be honest.
Jacob, with that attitude, you're going to succeed, mate. You really are, and I do wish you a very, very successful life in what you're doing. The show is coming to Frankston at the Arts Centre down there, Saturday the 19th of August. It's full of the Warners, so you'll have to try and get another seat somewhere else.
That's it.
7:30.
Beautiful.
7:30 at the Frankston Arts Centre, the 19th of August. Jacob, nice to talk to you, pal. Take care. We'll see you back in Melbourne in a few days' time.
Thank you very much. I'll see you then.
Take care, pal. Bye-bye.
Bye.